Hey guys, in today's video, I'm just gonna share with you guys, I don't even know if I'm gonna post this, the truth about fragrance addiction. It's not that serious. I mean, I'm not gonna be that serious about it. Maybe the problem is serious, but I'm not gonna be that serious about it. This isn't that deep of a video. Wait, maybe that's a lie. I think I'm deep, like without trying. I'm not trying to be deep. I'm just intense. I'm just intense. I think it's the ADHD, the oversharing. I have to like stop myself sometimes because I'm like randomly like trying to like have conversations about trauma and healing and psychology. And people are like, dude, I was just wondering where you want to go for lunch. Okay, so this is kind of a casual conversation about a serious topic. So, the truth about fragrance addiction. Disclaimer, my opinion, my thoughts. I'm not an expert at all. I'm just a person with a fragrance addiction. And I'm just going to tell you a few things that I thought about and you can tell me what you think about them. I am not claiming this to be the end all be all of truth. This is not like a universal truth or anything. It's just my opinion, my thoughts, okay? And you're allowed to have different ones. 100%. You can have your own thoughts. You can even make your own channel and talk about your own thoughts. Feel free to do so. So the truth about fragrance addiction, in my opinion, is that it's not about fragrances. It's not about perfume. Let me explain. I don't think that perfume is the problem. Perfume is lovely. It's not its fault that you have a problem. Okay, hold on. How do I say this? Perfume is like a positive experience. It's a sensory experience that enhances life. Like smells can be therapeutic. They could bring up good memories with their scent associations. They can create a mood, an atmosphere, a whole vibe. So I genuinely see perfume as a positive life and mood enhancing experience. So I don't think that collecting perfume is the problem. I think that the way we do it and the reasons why we do it is the problem. So some of us can use perfume as a coping mechanism, or trying to fill a void, or just something to use as a way of dealing with things like loneliness, depression, burnout, or anxiety. We use the shopping of perfumes to deal with that, to cope with it, or to escape it, or things like that. So as you know, spending and shopping is what's addicting, and because of the dopamine hits that we get from it. And honestly, as far as addictions go, I find fragrance to be one of the most positive addictions. But first, let's talk about why perfume can be so addicting. I think because of the shopping aspect and because of the blind buying aspect and the collecting aspect, it adds a couple extra layers of dopamine hits and positivity to it. I think fragrance adds an extra added element of like blind buying, collecting, and positive sensory experiences that it hits different. Like it hits really good because it provides us dopamine at a lot of different steps, at a lot of different like levels. Because even wearing it, you feel good. It brings out our confidence. It can make us feel dressed up. It can make us feel our best. It enhances our confidence. Like perfume brings out positive feelings in us. You know when you're dressed up and you smell delicious, or you smell sexy, or you feel sexy, or you feel sophisticated? Perfume brings out all these positive emotions, and that's what makes it such a good, fun addiction, in my opinion. As opposed to something like a gambling experience where, you go to the casino, spend all your money, and come home sad. You come home broke and sad. And with perfume, you get to add to your collection. You get to keep on smelling it. You get to enjoy that good time every time you go sniff it or every time you spray yourself. You also get to display them, and I enjoy that part as well. I feel like that's a sensory thing too, displaying them, because then you have a visual sensory aspect to it. I love beautiful trays of perfumes. Perfume bottles are so interesting to look at, they're very appealing, beautiful, and fancy. So that part is definitely like the beauty of it, the beauty of the bottles definitely enhances it. And it's also not really a problem to anybody else. Like you're not causing anybody harm for the most part. to buy your perfumes or to smell your perfumes or to display your perfumes, they're not hurting anybody. It's not an addiction that's hurting anybody. And I think that's why some people get a little defensive, because they're like, hey, don't you be calling my collecting an addiction because I'm not hurting anybody. And no, absolutely not. Like, for the most part, it doesn't actually hurt anybody. It doesn't even bother most people. So it's a very positive experience to collect perfumes, in my opinion. As opposed to something like drinking, where there's an element of like shame and disgust and ruined relationships. Like, that is, perfume collecting is nowhere near that. You know what I mean? Because nobody's getting hurt for the most part. It's just something like drinking is not pretty, and perfume collecting is definitely pretty. But what I'm trying to say though is that it's more than perfume. It's not the perfume that's the problem. Because most of us, when you think about it, before perfume was the addiction, we probably had a different addiction. We probably were hooked on beauty products or purses or shoes or skincare or other things that we've collected throughout the years. So I don't think in any way that the perfumes are the problem. I think it's maybe our habits, like I said, our coping mechanisms, using those things as a coping mechanism or using them as an escapism from other issues in our lives. So even though I am saying things like on my channel, fragrance addictions or perfume addict or things like that, or hoarder, I just wanted to clarify that I think that's the truth about a perfume addiction. And perfume is just the place where we ended up focusing those traits that I'm talking about. But if you do want to work on that, I would personally suggest, not that you asked, not that anybody asked, my unsolicited advice is that you do treat it like an addiction. But not the perfume loving part, but the shopping and buying part. The excessive needing to purchase things, or especially purchasing things that are out of your budget or you can't afford, because at that point is when it might be hurting people. Maybe even yourself. Maybe you couldn't take a vacation because you have no money saved up because all your fragrances are sitting there, and maybe your kids would have really loved that vacation. Or you might be robbing yourself in other areas of your life to spend it on perfume. I know that I've done that. Sometimes I need to replace other things in my life and I instead spend that money on perfume. Well, I've done that in the past. Obviously, I'm not doing that currently. But I've done that in the past. I've also gone in a little bit of debt, not too much for perfume, when I do like the pay later things. I used to do that. I haven't done that for a while, but I used to do like the buy now, pay later. And I think at one point I had, maybe I don't want to share how much in like debt, but it was those ones where it takes out a payment every other week and the money was there, but I kind of felt guilty to just blow it all at once. So I would just have it be like coming out in 4 payments or something. If it was like a big purchase, I would just have it come out in 4 payments. That way the money wouldn't look like too much all at once. So it was really more of a mental thing, but still, like, I didn't need to do that. I shouldn't have done that. If I didn't feel comfortable making the entire purchase, maybe I could have waited until I did, or maybe I didn't need to get an order that big, you know? That's not the point of this video. The point of this video was not to expose myself. I just wanted to tell you that these are some of the things that I'm going to be addressing and talking about. So I just wanted to tell you guys that these are some of the things that I'm going to be discussing when you hear me talking about like my low buy or like anti-hauls or anti-consumerist videos. I'm never saying that perfume is the problem. I'm the problem. And I'm kind of just going to be talking about how we can fix some of our spending habits if you're on the same boat as me, and how we might treat it like an addiction to perfume, even though it's probably not an addiction to perfume more than it is our bad habits. I always say this, but I hope I can make sense of this video somehow. I already forgot my point. What was my point? To tell you guys that I don't think perfume is the problem, that we're the problem. But now I'm gonna offend people. Should I post this? Is that offensive? Is it offensive? I always wonder, every time I'm going to post a video, anytime I'm talking about something that's like a little bit like calling people out or controversial, or I'm like exposing myself, every time I post it, I'm like, all right, this is it. This is where everybody unsubscribes and tells me like to shut up. This is it. This is the end of my journey here on YouTube, when everybody's going to turn their back on me because I'm going to piss everybody off. I'm always terrified of that. And then people are like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing about that. And then I'm like, oh, okay, so you guys aren't mad at me? Are you mad at me? That's me. I probably always think people are mad at me, and it's like 100 people watch my channel and sometimes one will be a little bit salty. But I don't know why. I'm focused on that one and I'm like, oh great, see, everybody hates me. So dramatic, huh? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today. That's it. I don't think I had a great point here, but I wanted to share that with you guys. It's sometimes I'm literally up at night and I'll just write like this little idea for a video or something that I'm thinking of and I wanted to share with you guys. And then I go make the video and I'm like, is that stupid? Or should I say that? You know what I mean? Because I'm not currently thinking it, but there's something that I wrote down in my notes because I had the intention of sharing it with you guys. So I want to share it with you guys. Please let me know what kind of content you guys would like to see. I have quite a bit coming that you guys asked for. I'm just trying to like make sure that I still have perfume content and low buy content so I don't become like too much of one thing, you know? Because I still want to keep it light and fun. I don't want this channel to get too serious. I have my other channel for that where I get a little too serious and a little bit too much into things. All right, so thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys in my next video, okay? Bye. Like, this is not like a universal truth, okay? It's my opinion.